on screen, Justin Martinez and Barath Sava, also from Ever Forward Club. And you'll hear from Justin in just a few. So thanks for joining us, man. And I want to piggyback on what Armando said with a big thank you out to How Kids Learn, to Mesco Associates for really sponsoring not just this webinar, but many in the series. And you'll learn more. Many of you have been part of the webinar series through the many years that Sampia, Rendario, thank you for hosting it with How Kids Learn. So let me just kind of dive right into our day. And the webinar theme, as you know, is serving the needs of boys in after school. And a lot of research tells us that experiences that we know of boys and girls, they're different. They seem to approach life and have different needs and behaviors, much in the same way, but very often in different ways. And I think all of us recognize that some of that is shaped by genetics, but it's also shaped by societal beliefs and the feedback that boys, girls get from all those around them. So today's about re-looking at that and having our young people reconsider the power of the beliefs that we each hold, that they have placed on themselves, that others have placed upon them, that society seems to enforce, of our gender and identity and what that should be and what it means. And to consider what we've been taught of what it means to be a boy, what it means to be a girl. And it's been said that perhaps the three most destructive words that every man may have heard in his life is, be a man. Just think about that. And what society has told us about masculinity and what does it mean to be a man? What are the stereotypes about boys? And what are the negative impacts, which Justin's going to really take us into, of those stereotypes that we placed or they've placed upon themselves? And maybe the bigger question is, what can we do to support the healthy developments of boys of all ages? So today we will be exploring those limiting stereotypes about boys and hope to gain greater awareness of what boys face, of what they want, what they need, and maybe what they're not able to even ask for of what they need. And together we hope during the webinar, we'll get to share our ideas of how after-school programs, and many of us here, from what I can see from as you introduce yourselves, are involved with expanded learning and after school. How can we address those specific needs and support our young men, our boys? We'll have an opportunity for breakout activities. We want to hear each other's strategies of what we're learning about working with young men and boys. And please, all throughout, put your questions, your comments into the chat box, and we'll come back to that. As I mentioned, we'll soon hear from Justin Martinez from Every Forward Club. But before we do, we want you to get a moment right now to consider what it'll be like, if you would, to consider what boys might need the most. And we want to kick it off with a video clip, a very powerful video clip. It's just a few minutes called The Mask You Live In. And then we'll have a chance to look at what that says to us. So for Armando, if you'd be kind enough to take us right into that video clip, The Mask You Live In.
Stop crying.
Stop with the tears.
Don't cry.
Pick yourself up.
Stop with the emotion.
Don't be a pussy.
Don't let nobody disrespect you.
Be cool and be kind of a dick.
Always keep your mouth
Nobody
shut.
likes a tattletale.
Bros come before hoes.
Don't let your woman run your
You
life.
bitch.
What a fag.
Get laid. Do something.
Be a man.
Be a man.
Grow some balls.
The three most destructive words that every man receives when he's a boy is when he's told to be a man.
We've constructed an idea of masculinity in the United States that doesn't give young boys a way to feel secure in their masculinity, so we make them go prove it all the time.
Within their peer group culture, each of them is posturing based on how the other boys are posturing, and what they end up missing is what they each really want, which is just that closeness.
In good times, guys are like really close to each other, but when things get a little bit worse, you're on your own.
From middle school, I had 4 really close friends. Once I kind of went into high school, I struggle finding people I can talk to because I feel like I'm not supposed to get help.
Our kids get up every morning. They have to prepare their mask for how they're gonna walk to school. A lot of our students don't know how to take the mask off. What is it you don't let people see? Almost 90% of you have pain and anger on the back of that paper.
If you never cry, then you have all these feelings stuffed up inside of you, and then you can't get them out.
They really buy into a culture that doesn't value what we've feminized. If we're in a culture that doesn't value caring, doesn't value relationships, doesn't value empathy, you are going to have boys and girls, men and women go crazy.
I had anger issues in high school. I felt like an outcast.
I've been suspended at least once every year I was here.
We would just look for trouble and just like try to fight.
Boys are more likely to act out. They're more likely to become aggressive. Most people miss that as depression or see it as a conduct disorder or just a bad kid.
I felt like just giving up on life. You know, I actually had suicide thoughts in my head at 6th grade.
I felt alone for a long time, and I actually thought about killing myself.
Whether it's homicidal violence or suicidal violence, people resort to such desperate behavior only when they are feeling shamed and humiliated or feel they would be if they didn't prove that they were real men.
If you're told from day one, don't let nobody disrespect you, and this is the way you handle it as a man, respect is linked to violence.
If I can man up, why step down from that, you feel me?
It's like instinct.
So man up. Man up. Man up. Man up. Hold some fucking ball.
Act like a man.
Be a man.
Be a man.
For my kids, I was gonna end this hyper-masculine narrative here.
Thank you, Mano. Pretty powerful, right? Pretty powerful. Man up, and all that means. So to bring us in on this, I'd like you to, as you saw those faces and the words of those young men, those boys, what do they most need? Ask yourself, if you would, what do boys most need? And I'd like you, all of you, if you would, many of you, put a word or two, a phrase into the chat box. What do you think our boys most need to be supported? Put your voice into this. You heard them. What do they need? So right inside that chat box, if you would, tell us what you think. Parth, our boys need acceptance. What else do our boys most need? Support. Many different ways. Love and empathy, friends, connection, role models, a safe space, reconnection to their authentic selves, attention and time. They need grace. And we might consider belonging, thank you, Steve, that it's human needs, but some of this is really critical for our boys to have because they're so far away from asking for this. We've never been taught to ask for what we need. We don't even recognize at times what we need until it's too late. So I'm gonna, at this point, really bring in someone who's so versed in this, and I want to introduce him to you to address this in a deeper sort of way. And let me share a few words about Justin and the work that he does, and then we're going to turn it over to Justin. And Justin Martinez, we just got to meet just a few days ago, and I was really taken by his authenticity, his commitment, and in terms of his role, he's leading the planning for the Young Men's Conference and the development of Youth Leadership Council at the organization Ever Forward Club, helping to shape its theory of change and program structure. He's a dedicated school social worker, a former foster youth, a first-generation college graduate, And Justin is passionate, as you'll get to see and hear, about advocating for youth in the foster care system. So at this time, thank you, Justin. I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thank you, Stu. Thank you, team. How's it going, everyone? Happy Win the Day Wednesday. So thankful for all of you in attendance, for showing up for yourselves, for showing up for your young men, for showing up and representing your community, right? Through the power of vulnerability, we're going to unmask a little bit more of our potential today. And I can't thank you and appreciate you enough for just showing up. That's what our young men need, is for us to show up, to be there to support them, and to guide them through the difficulties and challenges that they face on the front of their masks and behind their mask. So just wanted to appreciate you. Again, my name is Justin Martinez. I'm a school social worker and outreach coordinator for the Ever Forward Club. Briefly, I'll take off my mask with you. I grew up with two parents. I'm the oldest of four siblings. My dad coached me in baseball, football, boxing, fishing, camping. My mother was the team mom. We had a exceptional life looking from the outside, right? And behind closed doors, there was a lot of domestic violence going on in my home. And as the oldest sibling, as the man of the family, not being able to stand up to my father really left a lot of holes in me during those times where abuse was taking place. The domestic violence went on for so long, it eventually landed me and my siblings in foster care when I was a sophomore in high school. I remember the first night in foster care. Boys and girls can't sleep together in foster care. So my sister, who's the youngest sibling and the only girl, she was 6 at the time. She was crying so hard that my foster mother asked me to come downstairs and be with her because she had to sleep downstairs by herself in a stranger's home. And I sat on this rocking chair and I rocked my sister to sleep because she was just crying so hard. And at that time, I put my mask on. I'm the leader of the family. I'm the role model. I'm the parent. I'm the man. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to show my emotions because now everyone's looking up to me to be the leader. And then I had to show up the next day to school. And I was a 2-sport athlete and I was homecoming king. And I was class president and everyone knew who I was. I was really popular and I had to act like everything was okay. And how do you think I really felt? Scared, alone, afraid, pissed. And I had to put my mask on, not just my face mask on the football field, my emotional mask, and walk around school and act like there was nothing wrong. So I appreciate you for letting me be vulnerable and share that story with you. We're going to walk through a lot of good material today. There's going to be an opportunity for us to take off our masks as a community, for you to engage with our work and join our school community, become trained in taking off the mask and bring it back to your community. So let's get started on that. I have a slideshow for y'all to walk you through. And we'll have some time for questions and breakout rooms as well. So if there's anything that comes up for you throughout this presentation, please type it in the chat. And my support staff will help me in making sure we get anything addressed that you bring. Okay, so this is a video of a young man who engaged with our work at the Ever Forward Club and was courageous enough to share his story about how the work that we do at the Ever Forward Club using the Million Mask movement has impacted him personally. So let's watch this video and then we'll move forward.
I was always angry, but I never really, you know, like I never expressed it. I just balled everything in, cause like it's not necessarily has to do with masculinity, but it's like I never had no one like I could trust. I didn't have no one to go to, and I'm definitely not gonna, you know, go to therapy and talk to someone I don't even know, cause it's like no matter what, I felt like I'm gonna just go talk to this person for an hour and still have to go right back home to my mom drinking all night and walking home after work, stumbling in the house. Like, what is me talking to somebody gonna do? And so I bottled everything in, and I did that till I was like pretty much a year ago. I remember I went back to school, and it was like, everybody knew at the school I was in the hospital for, you know, depression and stuff like that. And it was like, oh, I play basketball, I'm supposed to be this big popular dude. And it's like, I go back to school and people are looking at me like, oh, he's just in the hospital for whatever, like, and you realize like, not everybody's your friend. Everybody you hang with every day, that's not your homie. That's not the person you could talk to, that's gonna be there for you. A lot of people just looked at me and was just like, judged me, basically. Even though they don't know what goes on in my life, I never told them, so they don't really know whatever went on in my life. I think it's just like, the importance of this story is like, I never had any of this. I didn't have a group like this to talk to. I didn't have nothing. I went home and just dealt with whatever was going on in life and tried to move past it. And like I said, after that, after years and years and years of doing that, you're gonna break down. Like, you can't just keep doing that. Like, you will break down, and it will just progressively make things worse. So I think everyone in here should really like understand the importance of this group, whether you think it's stupid or you think you're shy or it's weird to be here because like it's just a weird situation. I understand, but it's very important that you find people in your life that are truly there for you, and everybody else in here has been through stuff or is going through stuff, and like, you're not alone. And it's not soft to express your feelings. It doesn't make you less of a man to express your weaknesses, and fighting those weaknesses and learning to be able to deal with them in a healthy manner. That's what actually makes you so-called a man and makes you strong. It was nice meeting all you guys. I think you guys should really understand that this opportunity that you guys had today is a very big one, and y'all should be grateful to have this opportunity. And you know, hopefully what I said resonates with some of you guys. I was always angry, but I never really, you know, like I never.
Thank you, Armando. I'm pretty interactive, and I know this video has brought up some things for anyone that would be willing to share some thoughts, feelings about what we've seen so far. You can come off the mic, you could type it in the chat. What we got? Anyone have any thoughts, feelings, concerns?
I'll say I felt bad for him, especially when he's saying he's used to being the popular guy in class and having lots of friends, and just that realization of like he's on his own when it really counts.
Thank you, Liliana. Anyone else? Yeah, I mean, that's tough. That's tough to feel like you have it all together on the outside and you're falling apart on the inside, you know, which is the biggest reason why we've all shown up today to we can see those young men in our community. We can see what they look like. We could see that they have it all going on, but really what's going on underneath the mask? What's going on inside of that young person? We don't know what goes on when they leave those school doors or whatever community you're serving, right? So it's something to keep in mind. Let's move forward with the slides. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for putting it in the chat. Appreciate his vulnerability. Absolutely. So,
can I mention something, Justin, on that before? Because Liliana, thank you. What it triggered for me is the power for boys and any of us to know we're not alone. We're not the only one. And when they realize it's different for each of us, but we're all dealing with something. So let's pull ourselves together through this. And I think there's a lot of power in pulling together through.
Yeah. The support, definitely. Thank you. Thank you, Stu. Okay, everyone. So we're gonna take off our mask together. This is an opportunity. This is the workshop that we use at the Ever Forward Club when we engage with schools, with staff, with assemblies. It's called the Million Mask Movement, which is a global movement. We almost have 85,000 masks made worldwide. We're going to type the link in the chat. Armando, if you can click on it too and share the screen, that way everyone can kind of see and we can walk them through this. Perfect. Yep. So you click on the link here. And this is an anonymous tool. So I know this part kind of makes everyone get a little, brings up something in our nervous system, right? Like, oh, we're about to do this. This is an anonymous tool. Nobody is going to know anyone's personal information. So we're going to do this together. On the front of the mask, which is on the left side, you're going to use either the red pin up top to draw, or the middle pin, which is like more of a clear pin. There's an eraser. On the left side or the front of the mask, we're going to draw a mask. Whatever mask is coming up for you. Take a few minutes to do that. We got some background music for you during this exercise. It should take us less than 10 minutes to complete this. It's one picture, 6 words. If you have any questions, please let us know and we'll get you the support you need. So first step is drawing a mask. What does your mask look like? And the biggest reason why we're doing this together is because if we're serving our young men and our boys in our community, is we want them to know that we're not asking them to do anything that we're not willing to do ourselves. We're leading by example when we participate in engaging and making a mask, because we all have them. We all have difficulties, challenges, obstacles that we're facing in our life right now. Personally, as a community, as a society. And when you're done with drawing your mask, can you just put a thumbs up in the chat, please? Or a virtual thumbs up, just so we know. Thank you, Steve. Armando, you have some background music we're playing.
The thing about traveling with your kids
1 sec.
is that each year they
Thank you. First step is draw a mask. Thumbs up when you completed your mask. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Steve. Maybe another minute or so, and we'll move on to the next step. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Joe. And we're just asking that you give your best. Best is good enough. Thank you, Liliana. Thank you, Clary. Okay. Okay, we can move on to the next step. If you still are working on your mask, continue to do so. On the bottom of your mask on the left-hand side, there's a space for 3 words. You type in 3 words, qualities, phrases, characteristics about yourself that you gladly let the world see. The bottom left. What are 3 words, qualities, characteristics about yourself that you gladly let the world see? When you're walking around the world, what are you showing others? What do you want them to know about? What do you want them to see? Who are you? Nice. Thumbs up when you're complete on the front of the mask. But we don't move on without anyone else. Thank you, Stu. Then I'll just give you instructions for the back of the mask. 3 words, qualities, or phrases or characteristics about yourself that you don't usually let people see. What's behind our mask? What don't you want people to know about you? What don't you talk about enough? What don't you want others to know about you? words, qualities, or phrases that we don't show others. We're walking around, it's there, we don't reveal it. And when you're complete with those words, thank you, Armando. You can press the green submit mask button on the right. Yeah. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up when you've completed your mask. Fill out submission information, press and you're complete. Anyone still need more time to complete their mask? Okay. All right, we can move forward, Armando. Okay. Thank you, Armando, for being brave and courageous and completing a mask for us all. I know I relate to words on your mask as well, so I just want to appreciate you and connect with you on doing so and leading the way. Anyone still need more time or have any questions at the moment? Okay. So thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being willing, open, and honest with yourself, and creating your mask. This is what we do as leaders in our community. We lead the way. We let them know that we're not going to ask them to do anything that we're not willing to do ourselves, because we're here to support them. We're here to guide them. And we're here to let them know that we too also wear a mask, so they don't feel alone facing their difficulties and challenges and obstacles in their life. So we have one more video for you. This is a video called 100,000 Masks. These are masks made from around the world. So you can see what has been completed around the world. And before we start the video, I'm going to give a trigger warning. There are some words on here, some things that are revealed that are pretty deep, pretty scary. So I just want you to know to take care of yourselves if you need to. And with that, we will start the video.
Summer you'll never have until you ask. You don't know just who I am under this mask. 100,000 masks, I'm just trying to be a man. 100,000 masks, you don't know just who I am. May think you know me, you can't envision my past. You don't know just who I am under this mask. 100,000 masks, I'm just trying to be a man. 100,000 masks, you don't know just who I am. Walk 1,000 miles and I ain't never looking back. Before I take this mask off, gotta know myself in fact. I can never go too fast, I can never get off track. Leave it in the past, I can never come in last. 100,000 masks, sure feel who I am. I'm just feeling good, yeah, I'm feeling like the man. Front and back of masks, trying to ask her who I am. Know just who I am when you look inside this mask. Summer you'll never have until you ask. You don't know just who I am under this mask. 100,000 masks, I'm just trying to be a man. 100,000 masks, you don't know just who I am. May think you know me, you can't envision my past. You don't know just who I am under this mask. 100,000 masks, I'm just trying to be a man. 100,000 masks, you don't know just who I am.
Everyone, take a deep breath and let it out with a sound. Yeah. Thank you. You can go to the next slide, please. Okay. Now we've seen masks made from around the world. Let me get through some of these slides here so I can give you some tools to take away with yourselves. This is educator tools here that we're going to walk through, right? We have the educator tool for the Ever Forward Club, and we have the front of the mask word cloud. On the left side, smart, caring, friendly, funny, kind, hardworking, serious, happy, confident, athletic, and calm. Next slide, please. On the back of the mask, this is a small sample data set that we've collected, put together in some slides for y'all so you could see what the back of the mask looks like for others. The word cloud is self-doubt, don't fail, sadness, fear, anger, anxiety, worry, tired. So out of this data set, on the back of the mask, 24 said fear, 20 said sadness, anger, 16, self-doubt, 7, anxiety, 5. Next slide, please. And then when we put it all together, the young men who shared on the front of their mask, what lies behind being funny? At the top, 21 young men responded funny on the front of their mask, and on the back of their mask, 6, sadness, 5, fear, 4, anger. What lies behind confident? 11 young men said confident on the front of their mask. On the back, 4 of them said anger, 3 of them said fear. And what lies behind being happy? I'm showing you I'm happy. I'm walking around. I got this, educator, teacher, therapist, counselor. I'm happy. 21 young men responded happy. On the back of their mask, their happiness looks like fear, 8, anger, 7, and sadness, 6. So funny, confident, happy appears like sadness, fear, and anger. We never know what our young people are walking around with. There's more to you than what people can see. There's more to me than what people can see. And there's more to our young men, our boys, than what people can see. They may show you one thing, and they may be experiencing a whole different thing. Next slide, please. So again, the Million Mask Movement is a global movement. The Ever Forward Club, we are close to 85,000 masks worldwide. We have Dublin represented here, Hyderabad. We have India. We have Detroit, Michigan. So just so you know, when you engage in this work, you're a part of a global movement. Our goal is to reach 1 million masks worldwide. Great points. We have I think one more slide. Yes. We're going to drop this link in the chat. Okay. So we talked about what we see within our communities. You're representing your community. You see the young men and boys in your community, and you have identified one of their biggest and greatest needs right now. The way that you can bring this work back to your community is by joining our Advocates for Young Men in our school community. It's free. You get the link here in the chat. We can get you trained to be a mentor in taking off the mask workshop, what we just did, the exercise we just did. If you want to bring this back to your community, you register and sign up right there for our school community. We'll get you trained as a mentor so that you can facilitate this workshop for your young men in an after-school program, which is what we're here to talk about. After-school programs for young men. You know, some are athletes, some go to work, and some stick around and they don't really have a place, so they don't have a sense of belonging. But if you want to create that sense of belonging for your community and your young men, this is the work for you. Advocates for Young Men. Do we have the link in the chat? Does everyone have access? Thank you so much. Register, sign up, stay in contact with us. My information will be here at the end of the slides. Reach out to me. I'm here to support you. I'm here to give you what you need so that you can bring this work back to your community. And then, yeah, I think we're going to do takeaways after, Stu.
Yeah, I think we will. First, I know we can't all talk at the same time, but maybe I'm speaking for the whole group. Just thank you, Justin. If there's any thumbs up out there for what he's been sharing with us, I would just throw it in there because power, the importance of what you're saying it's striking me. It may be very moving for people. I know it has been for me. And I wanted to open up for questions from anyone. Something might have stirred inside of you. You got a question for Justin. I have some thoughts, but I just want to open straight up. Anybody, just open mic. If you have a question or something else you wanted to bring up, some of what you're experiencing, because I know as I was working through this, I'm going, wow, I'm looking inside of me and I'm going, okay, I have to do my healing. I have to do my work. And then in working with my kids, how do I then take them past just getting past the mask? Then can you step into what's really behind the mask? That's the next step. Where do you go from that? It's a big world inside of you and where you're going. So it opens up a lot of conversation. So just wanted to pause, and anybody has questions or thoughts, this is a good time because we're all in this together. So just raise your hand or open your mic. Free time for us.
Ask me anything you want.
And you may put it in the chat. I'm going to kind of jump in for a moment and just kind of take it into that kind of a conversation. Armando and Justin, a few days ago, as we were preparing, we just started having dialogue about all this. And one of the things that really struck me, and I mentioned this earlier before we began with Justin and Parth earlier today, is that whole idea of ever forward. There's an organization called the Ever Forward Club. So it's a matter of, as you heal, as you let down that mask and you learn that deeper part of you, where do you now take it? Where do you go with that? In your life, in your community, in your career? So to me, this is a great step, this whole work of letting go of the mask, of preparing men and anyone to go, I'm ready to really make my life amazing and spectacular and a contributor to so many others. So I'm just very much touched and moved by this, more than a technique, but this healing practice that will open up so much for the future of our kids. So I just wanted to commend your work, Parth, your whole organization's work for this.
Thank you.
And I wanted to give some time, unless there's questions, to Armando. Armando and I represent Educare, and our work sits right close in in terms of purpose and alignment. And so let me share with Armando, because our work is primarily in the after school field, but we blend this work of healing, social emotional development, developing young leaders with courage and with heart. And part of it is to heal yourself so you can really be that leader in your life. So I wanted to share, Armando, if you would, some of the work that so complements the work that you're doing, Justin. So if you
Yeah,
would, Armando.
it's really great. Just how I just want to thank Sam first and foremost for partnering us together in this because ultimately it's a lot of similarities. We were founded 35 years ago. Really kind of just how to really wake think kids up while Stu was a middle school teacher and students were struggling. But now looking at it, just really quick, I wanted the importance of our mission because I think it's again to empower young people and now we're serving over 35,000 probably students on a annual basis and we're seeing about 47% that are young men. We definitely have stayed true through our original calling is really working deep inside our students and really bringing already what's in from inside with all of our work. And just a little bit about our programs. I think Stu kind of touched on it earlier. We are founded on the our ACE program, coming in doing workshops at schools for middle school and high school students. And then slowly we grew in 2009 to start providing after school programming and primarily in high schools. And now we see about over 60 we're on 60 campuses on a regular basis from elementary, middle, and high schools with our summer and expanded learning programs. We also do school day support, which involves with a lot of us supporting through community circles. We offer boys groups. We offer curriculum for through SEL curriculum, which we call our heart set curriculum for classrooms for teachers, and then there's schools where we actually have full-time staff that are working with students that are mostly at need. We are out at continuation schools as well. As we know, our continuation school students sometimes get left out from the additional services. So we again we love working with that population. They're the ones that again needed a little bit more. And just our reach is quite wide here in LA County. We go as far up as Silmar, all the way down to Linwood and everywhere in between. And we work with other schools throughout in the Central Valley for professional development, also in San Diego and different areas of the world as well, which we've been happy for that. But I think for us, what we'll share is a little bit about our supporting our boys. We're very intentional. From that work. If you look at the two young men on the right, one of them is an alumni that actually went away to did our program in high school all 4 years, came back, is now working at the same high school he graduated from, and he's been a great mentor to a lot of the young men that are at his school. He runs a men's club there with his boys, and we do circle work every once a week at primarily a majority of our schools. And in addition, we are within our work, we work a lot on really bringing already what's inside our boys, of course, our girls as well. But a lot of our times, we spend a lot of times in supporting our girls that sometimes we leave our boys out. And we've been kind of intentional with our work. And you see the bottom left student. He's at one of our continuation schools. He actually got an Educare leadership award, and when he got it, was very thankful and was super excited because he was a kid that again that wasn't even going to graduate continuation school, but with our individual support and really making him shine, it kind of really pushed for him to be better. And I think ultimately it's just giving students the opportunities, and that's something that we've done with our work here at Educare. And Stu, if you wanted to add anything else, it'd be great as well.
Thank you, Mundo. The one thing that kind of resonated as I got to know Justin and hearing the work that you've been doing, um, our word educare, people think it's about caring education. There's a deeper meaning. The Latin word educare means bring forward what's already within. And to me, Ever Forward Club, guess what? We bring down the mask. Now let's really bring forward what's within you. So, and a lot of our kids don't know there's anything more than the mask. They don't know there's anything more inside to bring forward. And so, one of the elements I love, and I don't know the future of your students, but I know as I've seen our kids grow, is it's service, it's purpose. I want to help my community. I want to give back. I want to make life better for others. So that theme of taking down the mask, discovering what's within, bringing it forward, giving opportunities to give back, it's a really rewarding life. And so we're happy. We got about about 25% of our staff were our kids. Got about 400 staff, and about 25% were our kids. And now they're like these people on the video, on the photo here, they're giving back. So it's just wonderful that we can see that. I see Sam put a note. Thank you, Sam, in the chat. Support groups, circle work. And I think it's important inside of what Ever Forward Club is doing. It's a big part of our work. We call them heart talks, where they can sit and we'll do topics like what's heavy on your heart? What's something that what's a wish, hope, or dream you would like for yourself, for your families, for your community? And we let kids start to explore and listen in deeper ways. And this is taking down the mask. Let me tell you about what I want. Let me tell you about my dreams for the future for my communities. And then from there, what can I now do about that? And they move into a group we call Take Action, Students Serve LA, where they, through high schools, give back out of their compassion and desire to make a difference. So the work of healing, the work of listening, the work of busting through these stereotypes, busting through these limiting beliefs. A man's got to be the protector and nothing more than that. Well, what does it say about our relationship with women? They can also be strong. We could be strong. So in some ways, it's demeaning to women if we hold on to those beliefs. We have to respect them in their power as well as ourselves and our vulnerability. And one of the greatest gifts that someone once told me, Stu, as I was leading, he said, Stu, your vulnerability as you work with us is your strength. And I see that in Justin. I see in the work that Ever Forward is doing, that we as men or as women can show both the strength and the vulnerability and let the kids know they both go hand in hand. And we're the role models for that. So those are some of my thoughts. I wish we had hundreds of people learning from you today, Justin. This is so important work. And I would encourage all of us who are here, as I did as I finished my mass, it was a chance to, who are you, where you're from, it will keep your mass. But you can get into our network. And I said, yes, let's get into that network. One other thing I want to go ahead, Armando, please.
I know that Dana covered. Yeah, there is a big challenge in males in this field, but your alumni are probably the best people to recruit. One of the things with our young men, with our young staff that we've been able to do is, again, it's been that percentage is probably higher now, but those have been our best staff, has been our alumni. And one of the things is we try to really keep in touch, and I think our site coordinators that are at the school sites have really built strong relationships with our students to really make sure that they're coming back. And that's been probably just a phenomenal way of recruiting males, because we know we want to make sure that we put some males and quality male staff in front of our students, because we know if they have one solid mentor in their school setting, they're going to do very well and show up on a daily basis, no matter what's happening in the back end, because they definitely look forward to the conversations with that individual. And the reason I personally ended up in this field is same thing, after school staff member. is, again, they really got me into sports. We're into it, but there were the support system to really kind of push me through it. And that's something that really kept me and my brothers into coming back after school, making sure we stayed until it was 6 o'clock before they had to kick us out and wait for our parents to kind of come and pick us up. But I think ultimately is really kind of getting creative and really putting some really quality staff members in front of our young males, because if we don't do that, we're going to do them a disservice. Of course, we do have some phenomenal women that are mentoring our young men now, but I think it's always great to be able to again put somebody that's just like them in front of them.
Excellent. Justin, we're going to start moving towards the closing part, and we're going to let people kind of contribute their takeaways. Any comments you want to make at this point?
Thank you, Stu. No, I just want to again, throw the appreciation back at you for what you do. Acknowledge and appreciate yourselves, and why you showed up today. We talked a lot about the hard work that we're doing, and the hard work is the hard work. And our young men, they're crying out. They're crying out. All of us are crying out in some way, and I hate to share this news with you, but just to take off my mask a little bit more, out here in my community in San Jose, we just lost a young man to dying by suicide 2 weekends ago. He was a high school football player, freshman, JV. And those things there's never a good time to feel that news. And it's important to recognize what's really going on, like we're really here to have that conversation, because for a young man to be dealing with homelessness, for a young man to be dealing with being evicted from his apartment with his father, having a single father, and being bullied for having a single father, being spit on, being smacked in the back of the helmet, and one of his teammates telling him to go kill himself. Those things are in our campuses. Those things are in our community. Those things are happening. And this 13-year-old young man, dealt with those challenges alone. And my passion is to make sure that young people know that they don't have to wear that weight. They don't have to carry that weight alone, because what's happening for them, what's happening to them right now isn't their fault and responsibility. They're trying their best, just like we're all trying our best when we show up to work every day. And we have to leave things at the door. We need our mask. We need our mask to walk into work, because we are dealing outside of work, but we can't bring that in the door. But our vulnerability will give others the permission to do that themselves. So again, thank you. Appreciate yourself. And I look forward to hearing from you guys and collaborating with you as we do this hard work.
Thank you, Justin. And one of the things that it points out as I'm listening to Justin is this is a step-by-step process. Those of us in After School, how do you approach this? And it's very developmental. Many of you do circle groups where you bring students together, boys together, girls, mixed groups together. And what you often can do is start leaning into, and I know both our works, others, many people have different types of discussion questions that allow people to start to be more vulnerable together. You saw it on some of the clips that we saw earlier today. So as we're starting to leave now, prepare ourselves for the end of this, many of us who take workshops, webinars, it's like, now what? We're going to go back into our day. So I'd like everybody to pause and just think about what we've heard today, what we've learned today, and consider if there's one takeaway from this day. What can you most take for yourself, for your practices, for the way you operate your organization? What's your greatest takeaway from today? And just pause and reflect on that for a moment. And if you would, in the chat, in a few words, go ahead and let's share out, note out in the chat box, what are some of your takeaways, or what is the takeaway from today? And for me, my takeaway is to do my work to heal myself in a way that I'm better prepared to work with others. So let's hear what people have in here. There's more to you than what others can see by looking at you. Justin, thank you. Not giving up. Armando, continue to be vulnerable. What's your takeaway from today? This is more than just a webinar if we make it more than just a webinar. So think about that. And as we start to move to closing, I wanted to share with you, thanks, Anna, being vulnerable with the students, creating an actual place for students to go to. Wonderful. Share what they're going through. Many of you have those safe places in your offices or on your program campus where kids can come. And a lot of you, just by who you are, kids will come to you. I know one of my greatest treats is seeing students just walk into an office with one of our staff because it's a safe place and there's nothing organized, but there's someone who's going to listen, who's going to take me in. Helping to make sports teams a space where athletes feel it's not just, okay, be the athlete, but I'm going to, you're the person that I'm with. Excellent. So I want to leave with you a quote, actually a passage. A few years ago, I wrote a book, Heart Set Education, A Way of Living and Learning, and it was part of a dream I have, and it speaks to what we're doing today. So let me share a paragraph. And my paragraph is that together, we can imagine schools where human connection and kindness are the norm, where no student would go unnoticed, where students who may want to remain invisible behind their masks are seen. They're not forgotten. They're valued. They're loved. And where both the bullied and the bully are noticed and helped. So let's look with eyes willing to see each other, not for the differences that we think that divide us, but for the goodness of who we truly are. So in closing, I just personally want to thank you, Justin, for your wisdom, your sharing today. How Kids Learn wanted it to be known that they'll be posting a recording of this session, which you could share with your colleagues who didn't make it here today. How Kids Learn will also send an email out to each of you with resources from today's webinar. Also, this is one of many excellent webinars, and there's one coming up Tuesday, December 3rd, sponsored by How Kids Learn. The title, Innovative Older Youth Workforce Strategies and Programs. Innovative Older Youth Workforce Strategies and Programs, and you can sign up on the How Kids Learn website. So visit their YouTube channel, watch some of the other webinars that they've done, and stay tuned. There's so much with Temescal Canyon. Thank you, Sam and How Kids Learn, for really bringing us together today. And in closing, I want to thank you all for coming on with us, for being part of this community, and all the best to our young boys, our men, in the ways that we can touch and support them. So thank you all. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.